Are your kids having a hard time being social? Hey, and welcome back to Supermom Knows Best. I'm Erin. Today we're going to talk a little bit about those socially challenged children. Usually happens amongst children with special needs. I see it all the time on the mom pages that I'm on. My kid can't make friends. My kid doesn't like parties, doesn't like sports, doesn't like interacting with others. I feel so bad. My mama heart breaks. I see it all the time. And I understand, having been there myself. Like I've said in the past, both of my boys, they're autistic. And friends, real friends, that was a challenging thing for many years. What most people don't realize is that when kids are toddler age to about the age of 4, a lot of times those kids continue to engage in what's called parallel play. People don't always realize that's what's going on because they see Child A playing next to Child B. The two of them could be playing with blocks and building whatever they're building. But if you notice, Child A and Child B aren't cooperating, working together, or talking to build one structure. They're building their own independent structure. They're working on their own plan and their own idea because that's what they do at that age. As they get a little bit older and they get closer to 5 and older, that's when the kids start to learn to communicate and build one structure together instead of those two independent structures. Now, of course, this process can be a lot sooner. It can start, more at 4 than 5. It depends on the child. It also depends on where they come in their birth order. An older child is going to have a hard time with this because there's no one to copy. There was no one to teach them how to behave this way. A child who's 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and on in the birth line, why, they've got it down because they've had to do it with their siblings. Older children are the ones who can struggle socially a lot of the times because, again, there's no one to model how to behave and how to handle things. But we're talking about our special kiddos, the ones that break our mama heart because they have a hard time communicating with others. Kids don't always understand them, don't always get them. When my youngest was little, he is a hyper ball of mess. And I love that kid. But he talks about 3 million words a minute. And he runs and can't stand still and jumps and bounces. And that was very overwhelming for other kids his age. It was a lot for them to handle. It took us a little bit longer to diagnose him because we weren't sure if he was copying his older brother's behavior or if it was really truly his own. And as he got closer to 5, we figured out, oh, that's you. You haven't copied that because that's not a habit your brother has. That's a you trait. And it took us some time to figure out the best way to help him be successful, especially when it came to social skills. I am so thankful to live where we live. We have a fabulous counselor at their elementary school who does social groups during the day. He gets together a group of kids who have a hard time interacting with other kids. They have lunch groups or they meet for play dates, that kind of thing. Just a little short, 20 minutes. It's nothing long because they are at school. And they talk with their peers about what is socially acceptable in different situations. They help them figure out when somebody's being sarcastic or what it might look like on somebody's face if they're sad or happy. And the younger you are, they start the skills and slowly build up to where it is all age appropriate the whole time and things that they can grasp. And I love that because both of my boys went through that program. Granted, they needed it for different reasons. My older one, who is an introvert, he only likes who he likes. And with that group, he can be extroverted. But if he don't like you, he's not talking and he's introverted. My other one is desperate to be an extrovert. He's desperate to be the leader, but he has a hard time conveying that to where he just comes off pushy and demanding. He overwhelms the other children. They don't know what to do with him. It wasn't until about 4th, 5th grade for both of them to where they started to form a really good friend group. And for both of them, it has grown and blossomed over the years to where all the parents of the kids in the friend groups love on every single one of the kiddos in it. We've all taken it upon ourselves to love everybody else's kid and to make everybody feel like they are important and they're listened to. Some of the parents know that my kids are special and some of them don't. Depends on how close they are with that child. For example, my youngest, his best friend, his mom very much knows she's a pediatrician and she saw it from the get-go. She knew what was up. And ironically, his best friend is a twin whose twin sister is autistic. So I've always said, I think he gets him a little bit better because he's had to grow up with his sister. And again, I am so thankful for that relationship and that child because I do not know where my youngest would be without his best friend, his real twin, as I jokingly tell them. My older one has developed quite the posse. And he has got his close group to where every couple of weekends they have sleepovers, staying up all night playing whatever game it is that they're loving at the moment. And I love it because they can go to any one of those mama's houses and I know my child is taken care of and loved. I wish this for every family who struggles. And the best thing you can do is try to get them into a social group. If you're not lucky enough to have it at your school, I know there are counseling centers that have social group activities for, again, those special kiddos that struggle. Yes, insurance may not cover it. And it may be a financial burden on some, but it is an investment I would highly consider. It is very beneficial, and your kiddo will grow and benefit from being a part of a social group. Sometimes when we have special kiddos, we desperately want them to just be normal and to fit in. Why can't you just go play t-ball? Why can't you just go play soccer? That's not the case, and that doesn't always work for these guys. You have to stay within their comfort zone. You can't sign up an introvert for cotillion. You can't sign up a kid with ADHD for a sport that involves a lot of patience and waiting around, like golf. You have to do what works for your kid. You got to work with what you've got. You can't impose your ideas, your childhood experiences on them. You got to work with the boundaries you are given. You have to accept them where they are, and you have to meet them where they are at. And that can be hard. I think a lot of times when I see parents complaining and worrying about their kids not being social, have you asked the kid if they have a problem with it? I know for a number of years, my oldest could have cared less. He preferred being alone. I hated it for him. And we put him in social situations when we could in hopes that he would make friends. But he was happier being alone. Or he was happier just playing with a friend online because that's where he was at. I wanted him to be on the soccer team and inviting all of those kids over to our house afterwards for a get-together. But that wasn't him. That's not what he wanted. He wanted peace and quiet, not loud and chaos. Unlike my other child, who loves a party. So there you have it. That's my 2 cents for the day. Thank you for listening. If you like what I have to say, please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.